whenever I need to do that, because we've had an issue where we gave people snowballs, blue snowballs, and then realized that it wasn't the right microphone. Because I'm like this sounds really not great for a blue snowball, and turns out they weren't on it the whole time because they plugged something in that took over, like on a Chromebook or something.
This is tapping, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Like that's the way to tell.
So a snow, like a ball tap?
Yes.
I was waiting for that.
I
walked right into
I was
that
waiting.
one.
You wouldn't stop talking.
Walked right into it. Yep.
Mine's around here somewhere. I lost my ball of snow.
Your ball of snow. All right. Do I mess with this?
I should probably.
Hold on. I'm gonna wake up the Raspberry Pi.
Oh wait a minute! I want to try something.
Let's see if I can get this going, and we'll get going. So.
I like the setup work. It's the everybody equally instead of switching back and forth.
So well, you get to pick your own thing now.
Oh, do I? Oh, well, I like this one. I'm gonna.
So you can go down in settings if you can also do one where it switches, but you also see everybody along the side.
Oh.
Everybody's gonna have to watch me play with the Raspberry Pi right now while I'm deciphering this. So the fun part is now. So Chilla, a week with the Raspberry Pi. I'm making sure I'm not using it as a primary thing. Oh no, I need to do something else here because I don't need everybody to see the meeting code, and that becomes an issue. So we're gonna put it on you guys while I'm doing this, and then we'll put this over here, and then I'm not gonna get confused. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. And now I need a mean code. Damn it! All of you are on screen. Damn it! I'm not winning at this.
I wish I had. Oh wow.
I wish I was a little bit taller.
So I'm coming at you with 9 cores of i7 processor, 4Ks of video. Not that you can actually.
Yeah, it's the best looking 720 feed we've ever gotten.
And I got a new ring light. I actually have a secondary camera that I still need to set up. It's an exciting time over at Studio C.
Somebody got a batch of upgrades.
Oh yes. Now I got to catch up with all my software. There's like so many old pieces of software that I'm like, I'm like 4 versions behind on ScreenFlow, all kinds of fun
Your
stuff.
doppelganger just joined the room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That Sorg dude.
We'll get this sorted in a minute.
It's the wrong browser.
Oh, wait a minute. That goes there. This goes to this. But then it goes to this. There we go. We got everybody there.
Hey,
and then we
see us.
have over here.
That is bright.
Then what we do is we go over to the Raspberry Pi, and that is now our full screenshot, which unfortunately also shows me when I'm talking. So,
Ooh.
yeah, so I haven't really sorted that out yet. I guess it doesn't work well when I'm in the show, too. We're sorting it out, you know. But it will be a test situation here. All right. Maybe we'll do this a different way next time. I don't know. Okay. You guys ready to go? We'll see how this flow goes.
Works for me. I will have to update the dock.
Where's my
as we
record
go
button?
along.
There's no record button. What the
No
hell?
record button?
No, my hard drive isn't detecting. Uh-oh.
Mm.
Oh, okay, we're going to go black for a minute because I have to switch this up, apparently. You know what? We're just going to roll with it for the minute. Really doesn't like my drive right now. All right, that's fine. All right.
Everything's fine.
No producer today. If you
We're
couldn't-
all good here.
If you couldn't tell. No producer.
So this is really odd. It looks like I have the power to remove people from the video.
Get out.
You do.
I don't know how.
You can also mute other people now, but just like the good old days of Google Hangout. Don't do that. just don't do that right now.
I'm done with all of you.
Yeah.
So hold on, get a watch party started over here. Get a watch party started over here. Oh, that guy's out there. Hello. Hello, everybody.
We have friends.
It's coming together. Sorry, I can only set up so much when people get in here. So, what? That is weird. All right. We'll put that there. We'll put this over here. We'll figure out the rest on the fly. Oh, I'm recording already. I guess we should start the show.
Sorry, that was funny.
Hey guys, it's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast episode 7. No, that's a different show. 495. And we're ready to get geeky, get awesome right here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA, in full cold yellow. But we're still socially distancing as we go here. So with me, I got a whole crew with us right now. First of all, from Studio C with running on some new hardware is John Chichilla.
Hey, how's it going? How do I sound?
You sound great.
Awesome. The new headset, new laptop,
Mm-hmm.
new ring light, new life.
New life. Living it up. Living it up. Back with us. And also from Studio D out there is Katie Dudas, the Dudders.
Hi. I have a newly remodeled Animal Crossing island behind me.
Yes. There we go. Now I full screened it. There
Hey.
we go. My other setup wasn't working that I tried tonight. I was like, no, I'm seeing me too much. We got to fix this. So we're still experimenting with our Raspberry Pi setup for Google Hangouts. So yeah, I don't know. This will be like, hey, here's the washed out webcam over the internet version of me in the studio. So we can give you the other angle, I guess. So we're just figuring out how this all works in practice. That is how is the island going? We'll get a full update from you later, though. No snapping
Yeah.
turtles.
No, just in real life.
Just in real life. Excellent. Also back with us is Brian Crawford of pghmuseums.org Arg.
Arg.
Damn it, is joining us.
That might be a more exciting website.
It might be .org. Where's the .org domain? I want everything .org. It's just the pirate version. Then you have something for Pirate National Pirate Day, like every year in September, I think it is. So,
Exactly.
Brian, how you doing? How you holding up down there, down the street from us?
You know what? I'm really enjoying the coronavirus. You know, I've come full circle. Originally, I was like against it. Now I'm like, the other day I took the T into work, and I was completely alone. I had the entire train to myself, and I'm thinking, you know what? This is peaceful. I can deal with this.
There's your soundbite, Brian Crawford, pro coronavirus. I guess that's where we're at now. So, no, it is around, other than the mass recession that's happening in unemployment. It's kind of nice now.
Yeah,
actually.
There's some parts of it, you know, I can get behind. Not all of it, but
yeah.
And
It's not 100%, but it's just like, you know, I can take a leave with some parts of it. Yeah, sure.
Find the positive in everything.
What's that?
Said find the positive in everything.
Positive in everything, of course. Well, this is the show where we try to find the positive in everything as much as possible. This is the AwesomeCast. You can check out everything at awesomecast.com. You can drop us a line on our Twitter, on our Facebook page for AwesomeCast, where a lot of things happen. That's such the general things happen, including the AwesomeCast Facebook group, where a lot of stories are shared throughout the week, including some that we're going to share here tonight. And also, if you're on the Facebook, you'll get a notification when we go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Also streaming on some other platforms, including Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch, if I did all the things right. Again, no producer tonight, so I'm kind of doubling up on things I'm doing. So bear with me here. Also, please subscribe and rate us on your favorite podcast. If you're watching us live right now, please do us a favor and hit that like, favorite, share button to let people know that the show is happening and there's something going on here. Send that little algorithm out to the Mark and the Twitter and and everybody else out there and the YouTube so they know. And also, please, if you subscribe, and if you catch us later, also please share and leave a review on whatever podcast listening apparatus program that you are using right now. We are across all of them. Should be all of them. If we're missing, let us know. Then you're probably not listening to us, actually. So I'm doing the math in my head. Thank you to our audio partners, our friends at the 405media.com and postindustrial.com. They're sharing some great Pittsburgh podcasts. I watched Roger Rabbit this last week, so I got a little Porky Pig in me. And also thank you to our supporters over at patreon.com/awesomecast. Our friends at the Coffee Club, Matt Weller, John DeGore, and John Carmen, as well as our friends at the Fan of the Show level, Michael Fedor, and pghmuseums.org, our friend Brian over here. You guys can support the show, too, at patreon.com/awesomecast. And thank you so much, everybody who has been supporting us through the goings-on in the world as well. We really do appreciate it. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. And since I already leaned into the questioning of it a little bit, Dudders, what is going on with Animal Crossing here? Great story from this week.
Oh, I love this. So Carissa Shar, she's one of my friends on Animal Crossing, not to be confused with my niece Charlotte. But she works at the Science Center. And each week they've been doing these fun videos, like at-home videos, and she is just amazing. And if you've ever gone to the Buell Planetarium, recently she programs a lot of the laser shows, and she's super cool, loves space exploration, and she built a whole annex because in your Animal Crossing museum you have the dinosaurs, and you have the fossils and the dinosaurs, the fish, the butterflies, and it's really neat. But she loves space, so she, on the side of her museum, she built a whole separate annex, and you were able to build like the moon and different things, and it's all real live stuff that has a story and actually was used. There's a spacecraft. And so she takes you on a tour of this annex on her island, which is really, really neat. And then she pairs it up with videos of the actual real life. So you get to learn about these things that they took in Animal Crossing and are real life things. And it's such a cool video, and it's so neat to see. And I was lucky enough to see it. I guess in person with when I visited her island, but it's so neat. And if you have kids that are into space, you got to check it out. And it's, like I said, the video is so well put together, and it's so I was just like staring the whole time. Like I was just so interesting in the fact that, you know, she was using this game to connect it to space, and it's neat, and she's phenomenal.
That's awesome. And you were just telling us about the kind of museum function of the game over the last couple of weeks, I think, too. So that's kind of a fun little thing. So I love the timing of this, because we do have Brian with PGH Museums here, and it's so now we have another digital museum. I know, Brian, if you were looking at this kind of thing with the Animal Crossing side of museums.
I think it's really, really cool. I think it's a great way to, I mean, not only right now during this whole situation where everyone is social distancing, but I think it's a great tool in general, because it's a great way to bring maybe like younger people into the museums and get them to experience it in a different way. And I'm all about that. I think that's like that's the direction that a lot of museums need to go. They need to be innovative and creative. So I think it's really, really cool. And I do know her as well. We used to work together. She did the Snack podcast with Ralph Crew. So
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Small world. Small
Yeah.
podcast world.
Yes.
Well, I think probably something else, Brian, that you're seeing a lot of is just the accessibility now for so many things in Pittsburgh that weren't previously accessible to folks that couldn't get out of their house before. And I love it.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because some people just can't get to these museums and get to places because of physical reasons or other reasons that are outside of the virus in general. So yeah, definitely, it's a great tool, and hopefully a lot of this stuff stays. I really hope that these museums continue to innovate, and that's one thing that like we're trying to do with PGH Museums is work with some of our affiliates to be like, hey, we can help you do some digital stuff, and we have gotten some of them to do some Zoom conversations, but I haven't been able to get them to go any further. So I'm going to try to get some more digital work, especially now that things are opening up a little bit.
You can start shopping an Animal Crossing expert, just like your friend from the Carnegie Science Center, but if she's too busy, Dudas would be the other one.
There we go. That is right.
As she
I love
weekly flexes her Animal Crossing skills.
Yeah, that is a skill I do not have.
That's awesome. So Chilla, what's your awesome thing of the week?
So a week ahead of delivery schedule, I picked up the MacBook Pro 16-inch.
And is that what we're viewing you through right now?
It's what you're viewing me through right now. Now I have an external webcam and some other stuff hooked up to it, but I will say, unlike maybe the average person, I have one cable running into it. So I have a USB-C dock for work that has everything that I normally use pre-plugged into it. So typically when I switched to the show, because I had an older MacBook Pro 13 and I didn't have USB-C, I had a separate hub. I had to move USB ports around, all of that. I plug in one cable, everything powers up, the headset that I'm using, the webcam, everything automatically flips over, and it also charges the MacBook Pro. Now I'm interested to see, because my hub is really only rated for 65 watts, but it's keeping me at 100% and charged. So the display's beautiful. I haven't jammed out with the speakers yet, but the other thing is the trackpad is ginormous. And I will say, I haven't used the touch bar yet, but just having the fingerprint scanner there is very nice.
So this is your first touch bar?
This is my first touch bar based Mac. Yeah, because I had the 2013 or 2015 MacBook Pro.
Okay.
It was 2015 MacBook Pro. So yeah, so I had the old one was just Thunderbolt and old school.
Awesome. So you had a pretty good jump there for specs. I'm glad you jumped on it. I have a feeling you're just fine getting the one now versus waiting. So awesome.
Well, because it was between this and the 13-inch. Remember, do I buy the brand new 13 or do I go back to the 16? I will say it was funny because I was arguing with myself about weight. And while it's the 16-inch, it's only a half-pound lighter.
And
it's only a half-pound heavier than my 13, because the older 13 I have is almost 3/4 of a pound heavier than the current 13. So even though I went up in size, I didn't go up as much in weight as you would suspect, only because my old laptop was old.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and which is important since this is something that you do carry on the T, as we mentioned before. Not that you have a lot of people to share that with right now.
Yes, that is very true. When I do return to work and leave the bunker, I will be carrying it with me on the daily.
Awesome.
Do you like having the larger screen size?
Yes and no. So I like it when I am up on my couch, but it's weird having this large of a display in my office because I'll have to take a picture. I have a 32-inch 4K display, and I'm used to having kind of like the tiny display just to keep a window or two open up over here. And it's weird having a very large display.
Partners in the chat room asking if you installed any games on the touch bar. I have not, actually. I have not really hacked my touch bar. Like, I kind of just, I have a thing about just wanting the, like, I haven't rearranged anything because I like having the stock experience so I know what other people deal with on a regular basis, and I want to know that so I can tell people how to use it.
It only came yesterday, and like I said, it came actually a week ahead of schedule. So my priority yesterday afternoon and evening was getting operational enough. Like, I moved stuff around in my office and then got everything to make sure I could make this podcast work on it. So I will say I'll be working on a lot of other items, but it was pretty much get the requirements installed.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably at least get some of those. I can't remember what the name of the app was that lets you add kind of macros and other stuff to your touch bar. I'm very interested in playing around with Sidecar. Because now I can wirelessly display to my iPad as well. And I'm actually thinking about the Elgato deck.
The Stream Deck.
Yeah, but you have to pay for it, but they put it right on your iOS device.
Oh, okay.
So instead of buying the hardware, you can actually put it on you can put the software version on a phone or tablet.
Nice. Hey, that can be handy. The ones that I've seen for the ATEM or Blackmagic ATEM are like $50. So as a comparison point. So and because it's just software we use to switch this program that interfaces with the hardware we have. There is a hardware version, but that's more expensive, kind of like the Stream Deck. So I mean, just comparison point, I guess. So
yeah, and I don't think we're going to see the ATEMs coming back in stock for at least another multiple weeks.
No.
I actually have two places. I have an email alert set up if they return to stock, but I'm guessing I'll be doing some software stuff for the foreseeable future.
Yep. Brian, what is your awesome thing?
Yeah, so my awesome thing tries to tackle the question that everyone has when restaurants reopen, but they're still requiring you to wear masks. How do you go out to a restaurant? So there is a robot mask that has been invented. And this mask has a little contraption that you hold in your hand, and when you press it, it'll open a slit in the mask that provides a hole for you to eat and drink. It looks kind of interesting. It looks kind of creepy, almost like something that would be in a bad sci-fi. But on the other side, I mean, it is useful. But I wonder, because they say that these masks, and if you look at the video, it looks like the mask that everyone is wearing, the disposable masks, and they're not supposed to last that long. So I wonder the shelf life of this robot in terms of actually allowing the mask to be useful in mitigating the spread of the virus. But it looks neat. It's a neat idea. It's a little more high-tech than the picture I just shared on Facebook, which has a guy that made a mask out of his pants and it has a zipper that he can zip down to stick a bottle of beer in there. But it looks cool.
It's a lot of function. Yeah, you have this little kind of squeeze device, and it opens up the lever that allows food to come in. Because yeah, that was something that we talked about and the people were asking about, because Katie was a part of our adventure to visit a friend of ours out in Evans City for a little kind of birthday and lunch kind of thing, and we socially distanced and stuff, but it's still like we had to take the masks off, but we're far enough away we felt we were kind of safe. So I guess this kind of, as we go back to eating around people in restaurant situations, maybe this is a solution. I don't know. I don't know how realistic this is to do en masse, right? Like that's the biggest question.
Like I said,
and costly.
The mask. I'm sorry?
And costly too, right?
Yeah, I imagine it's expensive. And if you look at the mask, like I said, it doesn't look like a mask that is like washable. It looks like one of those ones that you just throw away. So it just seems like it would be extremely expensive to come up with that device.
Absolutely.
Every time.
That's what surprised me, is that it wasn't one of the washable ones. Like, from the looks of it, it's just like a hinge. If they could put it in one of the cloth masks and you removed the hose for kind of opening and closing it, I could see it being reusable. It might make sense.
That's how I feel. Yeah, and one thing I think that's funny about it is like it has lips.
It's kind of creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe even a little cyberpunk.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, my awesome thing of the week is space. People in space. People in the space coming from the America. So, and this is something that was talked about, like when I was actually reminiscing this week about when I used to be able to go outside and travel, and was looking at my old videos from the SpaceX at the beginning of March, was that where I got to go see the SpaceX rocket, the 50th, I think, a successful landing of their booster rockets and such. But officially, as I pull up the link here, the next launch will officially have astronauts on board. This is going to happen on the 27th of this, the 27th. I got to get rid of my ad block here, apparently. Apparently I didn't look at it on this computer. But on the 27th of this month, they're going to do the SpaceX Demo 2 mission. This will be the first manned flight from the USA since, I believe, 2011 was the last one with the shuttle. Off the top of my head there. So that's going to happen. It's going to be scheduled for 3:10 a.m. So for you early risers on the East Coast, have at it.
Or late nighters.
Or late nighters. Yeah, let's be honest about that. They were supposed to do a Starlink launch, and that got pushed, which moved this up somehow, I think. Like somehow that got rearranged because of the tropical storm that's currently being encountered, I believe, by North Carolina. So like that next the Starlink satellites that you have going on. Have we talked about the Starlink satellites on here much? Have you seen video of the Starlinks?
Not that I remember.
So
no.
So the Ray that the photographer went with to see the SpaceX that works with us on the Aero Design events. He shows me footage that he's taking over in Texas. He's from the Fort Worth area, and you can see, they've launched, and you see a string of lights that are all like multiples of these rockets. I think they might launch something like 60 at a time or something like that. And you see them in a line and start to separate out. And of course, now if you look in the night sky, you might have to kind of concern whether that is a star or a satellite that you're seeing, because there are so many of them out there. And again, Starlink is the Elon Musk SpaceX venture that is supposed to give us worldwide internet through satellites, and kind of creates this hence a network of satellites. So it's kind of a fascinating, weird, futuristic thing to watch if you get some video of it. It's pretty wild to see out there. So go check that out. Oh, there the video's back. So look out for that. This is as Pawner said in the group a little bit ago. This is kind of a big deal. So it is another good question. Will they ever land on the moon again while he's alive? I'm waiting for that one too. So, but I don't know. The only moon mission I'm aware of is to build a station out there, and I feel like we're a pretty far way out from that happening.
Space Force will make it happen.
Space Force will make it happen. Yes. What's his face from The Office on the Netflix show? We'll find out about it there. So All right. Hey, I saw our good friend Rico today when I went to pick up our weekly visit to our friends Slice on Broadway. Our friends in 4 locations here in Pittsburgh, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza, Beachview, Carnegie, East End, PNC Park. I know a lot of you guys have been going out and supporting them in all this craziness going on. They're gonna supply you with your perfect pepperoni pizza during the pandemic. Ha! Ha!
Well done.
Yeah, that was just off the top of the head. So let's not make that official tagline, please. But no, go check them out. And please continue to support our friends at Slice on Broadway. Check them out, sliceonbroadway.com. And because there is a little bit of controversy, and I don't know where they stand officially, but I'm just saying, help our friends out and support them by ordering through their website and not through, I don't know, some app on your phone, which the website does work on your phone. I know I've ordered it through there. So go do that or give them a call. They're friendly fellows and ladies. And you might have the man himself, Rico, picking up the phone. So as I've been running into him lately here at the Beachview location, the OG, the original, right up the street here from Sorgatron Media. Okay, guys, have you been keeping up with Put a Pickle on It? have you I don't even want to talk about the game tourney because I feel like this has been completely shadowed by Chachi's latest project, Put a Pickle on It, and I just have to give my best friend his weekly shout out. It's Candy Week. It might the search is a little weird on YouTube, so if you're having trouble locating it, just Chachi says on Twitter, and let's say it's Candy Week. He's done a peach gummy. And today he did a Cadbury egg, thanks to a recommendation from our friend, an old Wrestling Mayhem Show fan from England today. So it is fantastic. And this theme music that he found is good. And I have it in my head, and I just want to shake my booty to it right now. But go check it out. Chachi says on the Twitter, links to his YouTube, the best food blog you're not watching. Right now, so pickle it. Do they put pickles on their pizza, Chilla? You're asking in the chat room.
Yeah,
I'm sure they have pickles because they have other sandwiches, but why not?
I'm sure Chachi should give it a whirl.
But synergy, make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Make it happen. All right, let's see what we got here from the Facebook group from the week. And first of all, Podner shared with us. This is a pretty big one. Zoom. I sit here and I'm staring at a Zoom board, and it's not the same Zoom, and it keeps messing with me now that I'm realizing. Zoom, the video conferencing software, are actually going to be expanding their in the U.S. with engineering centers in Phoenix and Pittsburgh. So, because, hey, if you're going to do engineering, you got to cover the Carnegie Mellon and then also those bright minds at the University of Phoenix, right? So, but I don't know. You guys, are you guys? I know, Brian. You've been using Zoom. I know there's been a lot of improvements lately in the last several weeks, supposedly, but then they broke a bunch of other stuff. So,
I prefer Hangouts. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Having used both of them, I have some audio issues with Zoom a lot of times. So there's several interviews where I've recorded where I've had to really go through and got a lot of the interview because it becomes so mangled that you can't understand anything that the person is saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest issue with it. Other than that, I mean, it's really easy to use. I like the functionality of it. Also, unless you pay for it, you're I think you're limited on a certain amount of time that you can be on it.
Yeah. There's been some people that have been doing some very public kind of things, but they're obviously not paying for it. So there's a weird hey, the event's going to go from this time to 10 after. And it's like, what are we doing here, guys? So it's kind of a fascinating thing. But it's good to see, as they're growing, and I think they got caught by surprise for the most part. And they're finally kind of getting their act together to catch up with the demand and all the issues that have come up from having, did they triple their user base or something?
Oh, I think it was more than that.
More than triple?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think Zoom is really a good example of why good marketing matters. Google Hangouts has existed forever, but most people have never heard of Google Hangouts, but everybody knows what Zoom is.
It's interesting because, like, I was on a call today and someone said something about, this Zoom meeting, and we weren't on a Zoom meeting. It was like Kleenex, like
Wow.
tissue. Like they have totally supplanted Skype. Like instead of I'll Skype you, I'll Zoom you. It's interesting because I didn't see a lot of the marketing. I felt like it was an overnight thing. But I've been on numerous Zoom meetings. I think the point that I see is the frictionless barrier to entry is what's so captivating about it. I mean, if you have a current Chrome browser, you should be able to connect. I think they went very far past what anyone had done with like the RTC stuff. It's very impressive. Obviously, not without problems along the way and bumps in the road, but I even some of the things I've been seeing firsthand from them, they're really answering back and trying to do the right thing, and it was never intended for this amount of users, even in the enterprise.
No, they're just scaling up to that, right? Because I mean, it's a very business solution, and it just kind of got co-opted into the norms through homeschooling and online drinking parties and everything like that, right? So,
and I mean, I understand that from a free perspective, right? I get why there's the 40-minute thing. I mean, this is all they do, right? Google can make money and monetize your Hangouts meetings and your Gmail account. Zoom just has what they have. I wouldn't be surprised. I want to see who flinches first. Who gives up the free tier, Zoom or Google with Meet?
It'll be interesting
when this is all over.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about, we're free until September, like we were talking with Kim last week, and it'll be interesting. But it's also a matter of what happens in the world. Like, is everything free for now for schools, and then when we, if inevitably schools don't come back to on location next year, or a percentage of them don't, is that when we start kind of putting the tramp down on it a little bit and locking it down and kind of making good on this, or you just have another batch of filters that'll make it better for the more extensive?
I wonder what will happen, because for us in our school district, we've switched, right? So we were all Zoom, and then they quickly actually lit up G Suite. Yeah, like we had a week of Zoom, and then they while they lit up G Suite for the elementary schools. And then we flipped over to that. So based on their G Suite subscription, I could see it being more palatable to keep, because I'm guessing that it's probably negotiated into the price of Suite.
It's school pricing, right?
Yeah.
So if you already have all those Google Docs and everything, because that's what you worked with, then like Google Meet just rolls right into that, like it did for us. I know it's been, I mean, the quality I think has been, anecdotally, I feel like it's better. I don't know if you guys out there watching this on video, and you guys, we've had less problems getting new people on Meet than Hangouts for sure. Because there's a lot of these, like, why can't you click on the link and it works on Hangouts, and Meet? I've literally had one person have a problem, and the second person was because they were using Safari on a computer that probably hadn't been updated for a while. So, I mean, it's been pretty good to go. So
I actually don't see the. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I don't see the free version of Zoom going away. I almost feel like it's going to be similar to Slack, where you have a certain time limit, but you have to pay for more because it gets people into it, and then they go into the business world, and then they have to pay for more in order to get longer meetings.
Little things like, man, I'd love to use Zoom, but I haven't paid for it, and I have an hour-long podcast I'd love to use it for.
Yeah, exactly.
Case in point, right? Chilla, you were saying?
But doesn't Slack have something in their terms and conditions where technically they're entitled to your free data?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I think Slack's actually monetizing that in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, there's questions if you're worried about security. Slack may not be the way to go, especially if you're not paying for it. So,
Yeah, if
but
you're not paying for
that's
it.
something everybody needs to weigh in. If you're a company, just had a conversation with somebody that wanted to do live streaming but did not want to be on Facebook for reasons. And I was like, listen, you can not be on Facebook, but then you're just going to have to pay for another service. And I don't think you're in a position to do that. You know, it's one thing if you're a company, if you're a big bank international and you want to pay for a Vimeo account that's $1,000 or a couple $1,000 a year, that's one thing. But when you're, you know, a nonprofit, it doesn't work, you know, and you know, and even those nonprofit prices, depending on your size, still don't work. And I was like, well, then you need to weigh whether Facebook works for you, right? And all these other options. So.
But on a personal level, I've been using the Facebook Messenger video to chat with friends.
Yeah,
and I love it.
The new groups one or just the individual Messenger?
Just the individual one because it was a little bit easier. Just, you know, you invite everybody into a conversation. But I think the room works the same way. You just then they get a code to click on versus me and calling everybody. But we've been using that, and I've been on those calls for like chatting with friends for like 2.5 hours, and we're playing. We have face filters. You have some basic games. I mean, they're not super exciting games, but they're definitely enough to make you giggle if you want to do things with friends. And the video and audio have been fine, and as long as you're using Chrome, that was the only issue we had so far. Was someone had to download a newer version of Chrome to get Messenger to work on their laptop. But I've been using that. You know what I mean? Like we're not sharing anything like secrets or along those lines, but I mean, like I've enjoyed doing that with just like on a personal level, and that's free. You can talk forever.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love using that feature actually, because I'm somebody who I really hate talking on the phone, but with video I can do that much better. So I've been using that to call people. It's definitely awesome.
I need the cues. The facial cues and things, or I'll just keep talking. If I'm talking to you and explaining something over the phone and you don't give me anything back, I'll just keep going because I think either I'm not explaining it correctly or you need some more information.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I tune out because like I start like my mind will immediately fixate onto something else outside of the conversation, and somebody will talk to me for 20 minutes and I won't know a single thing that they said. So I have the opposite problem. I can't pay attention.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of Facebook, they did make another move this week where they picked up Giphy.
Yeah.
I'm going with Giphy to be a part of the Instagram team. So it's already, I think it was like a giant percentage of that, of course, was already a percentage of Giphy was already through Facebook properties at this point. So it was just kind of a no-brainer as far as that goes. I mean, I don't know how they're monetizing otherwise, so okay. This is pretty big. We have some stuff on Giphy.
The only thing that worries me is like, are we going to lose some of the integrations? Like, are they going to abandon like keyboard plugins?
Like, well, here's a good point that was brought up with that. I heard somewhere along the line of podcast listening and news this week was, well, they could, but also all those things that you have already pre-installed with Giphy, like keyboards and part of other apps and things like that. Now you have a little Facebook and all that, and now Facebook gets all that input from all those other apps because they own this. So it actually plays perfectly, unless the app themselves, because Twitter, we know, doesn't play nice with Instagram. So if Twitter decides to excise Giphy because it's a Facebook brand right now for whatever reason, that's possible. But I don't know.
Or when I do a search in Giphy, am I going to get advertisements?
I imagine. I have a feeling there's already sponsored GIFs in there that we haven't seen yet. You know, like certain brands maybe popping up when you type in an emotion or something, right?
Well, you'll see the popular ones are a lot of times TV shows like Netflix.
Yeah.
And things. So they're obviously paying for that.
Yeah. Just be like, really? This like random show on Netflix? All right, I guess so. Moving on.
What real quick, what did surprise me though is I read a press article that stated Facebook didn't buy it necessarily to complement their Facebook brand as much as they did for Instagram, which I thought was odd.
Yeah, Giphy. I don't recall Giphy being on a lot of Instagram.
Well, and I would never think of like the commented, like putting GIFs in my comments on Instagram like I would in other social media places.
I've never actually seen that done. You're right. Now that you
It's
mention
all stories.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all in stories. That's all the GIFs and the stories.
Oh. Okay.
Because you can add those to things, and then you could do like the 3-tiered GIF.
Awesome.
That makes sense.
That was submitted by. Oh, I gotta get that note in front of me. That was submitted to our group by Doug, our good friend at Yins Love Barbecue. Also, Amanda over at Bullet Pittsburgh, bulletpgh.com. They just had a new website redesign, I believe. So go check that out. I haven't had a chance yet, but I saw the post about it. Here's a way to create WWE-style MacBook Memojis with stickers. Because remember we were talking about that last week with the Memoji kind of splash that they had on there. Here's the visual for you if you and there's those cool little stickers on your desktop. So I guess you can create your own laptop stickers. There's a little tip iPad tutorial they had going on there. And yeah, so this is how you can take your Memoji and turn it into like emoticons, like you holding your hand up, giving a thumbs up, thumbs down, things like that. I think I stumbled on a version of this because I discovered that I could still send you a panda GIF, or I'm sorry, a panda emoji. That should be the emojis on my iPhone 8. So yeah, I guess it just kind of generates all the versions of it when you do your avatar. That's awesome. So I don't know. That feels like something I'd see you digging in on a little bit.
Nope.
No, you're not going to Memoji
here's-
yourself.
No, I didn't. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Chilla.
So here's what's weird. So with the new MacBook, now I have to cover it with new stickers.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm thinking I can take this and I can, before I put the stickers on the MacBook, I can scan them. And then I can place them on my Memojis with this exact same stickers as on my MacBook.
There you go.
Or maybe I just have way too much time on my hands.
Super meta. Apparently, obviously, the lockdown has gotten to him. Let's see what else is going on here. We'll skip that. We'll skip that one for now. Ronnie shared a video over on the group. You guys can go check it out over there. It's a Bruce Willis starring game from the PlayStation 1 called Apocalypse. And I remember seeing the ads for this when it came out. It is not. I don't think it held up well at all. I want to give a shout out, of course, in-house here at Sorgatron Media. Also houses Sidekick Media Services. Let us be the sidekick in your superhero project. Of course, doing everything. Today, just did a site visit for a wonderful church up in Monaca, working with them on live streaming, as obviously with everything that's going on here, helping people kind of realign with the new situation in the world today. So it's been a really interesting few weeks for that, helping podcasts go remote. And also, we have just worked on our plan for doing in-person podcasting and video shoots, and so we can do that safely under the new guidelines by the state of Pennsylvania and make sure everybody is safe and still continue to create good stuff for great, awesome stuff for our clients out there. Let us be the sidekick in your superhero project. Check out everything going on at sidekickmediaservices.com. And I know Missy's been sharing some great blogs from over there talking about some of the background of what we do here at Sidekick Media Services. A lot of the technology that brings you this fine podcast and Facebook Live stream. So am I the only one on Google Play Music? Am I the only one that went down that rabbit hole years ago? Yes. The only one that uploaded all their music to it, and now that's just my locker. And I heard about YouTube Music, and I was a little concerned about it. It's okay, guys. If you're in the same boat as me, YouTube Music will transfer all of your Google Play songs with one click. We'll see how well it works when it's finally rolled out here. So that is a feature that is coming up. I'm glad, if nothing else, if you're concerned about Google and how they keep changing and killing products, they have usually been very good about takeout, right, Chilla?
They've been good about what? Takeout?
Takeout. The Google Takeout, where you can take your information out of Google
or
transferring out.
They are good about it, yes.
Google Wave, you could have taken all your information out of Google Wave. I don't know what you do with it, but it makes sense since they have another music product that they would transfer that over. All of your uploaded songs, all of your favorites and algorithms, and all my likes are apparently going to carry right over to YouTube Music, which makes me wonder, and mixed with all of your YouTube likes and things too.
To me, that's important because that plays into the algorithm. Like that's something that's actually I've noticed with Apple Music, because it had all my likes and favorites from the dawn of time with my iTunes music library. Like when I play my favorites mixes, it pulls stuff out of the archives like that I would have listened to repetitively in the early 2000s. So I'm very thankful for that kind of stuff. So it's important that they allow you to do that, or they keep track of that metadata. And if anybody's going to keep track of that kind of information, it's Google.
It's all in there somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what are you, Brian Dudas, what are you using for music these days?
So I'm using Amazon Music only because they gave me a free month.
There you go.
So,
Dudas?
I'm in a weird state of my Pandora is so curated, like it's so where I want it in my stations that I have a hard time giving it up. Because it's $5 a month for with no commercials. So it's like I have a hard time giving that up. But I've been dabbling in Sirius because my mom has Sirius, so I'm able to share her account. It works well. Certain channels work well that I like, but it's not quite what my Pandora is yet. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, Pandora, I've it's had to have been around for at least 10 years now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been around forever.
Yeah. So it's finally figured me out. But yeah, that's all I've been using. And like as far as like anything I've downloaded, it's all old stuff that's probably illegal.
And moving on. That was one of the nice things about like the upload your locker to like the Apple and Google, because if you did have that nice collection of stuff, maybe it got off of a Napster or a Kazam or something. 20 years LimeWire. Morbius, I think was one of them. Oh no. You upload it, and now as you play it, I think you are now contributing to that band that you may have pilfered from 20 years ago. I believe that's how it worked, right? Because all the rights have to be there.
They're getting the plays. So because a lot of those services, when you upload, if it's a direct match for one of the songs,
they're not playing they're not playing my bad rip of Nirvana's Unplugged. They're playing like the good version they have, right? That I listen to like daily. And that was a real CD that I had, right? So if you feel a little guilty about back in the day and how you acquired your amazing collection digitally, like it was like a music sin pass of some sort. It's reparations. It's music reparations for the Napster era, right? So
you know what? I think we all have paid a price in terms of like spyware and viruses and stuff that we've accidentally downloaded using these old programs.
Yeah. Oh no, this was not. Yeah. Let's be honest. This was not a good idea. It was not a good situation for anybody, and yeah.
There were no winners.
There were no winners. There were really no winners in the long run. So, especially when what was it when you downloaded Madonna's album and it was just her telling you to F off.
All right, now that's actually kind of awesome. I would like to download.
That was when everybody started wising up to it. So they would just flood it with the BS version of it, and that's what you get anytime you search for it, because it was just populated, because that's what they would do. Oh boy. Music reparations. Hold on, let me capture this.
There's a show title.
It's just going to be the Pope with a Napster symbol on the top. That's not bad, is it? Chilla, you got a story over here about Lenovo smart frames.
So I don't remember seeing this announcement. I think it was back. It sounded like they announced it back at like CES. But Lenovo is launching their new smart frame. It's going to be a 21-inch 1080p display that hangs on your wall, is all super pretty, has you can wave at it to advanced photos. You can upload photos from your mobile device. Interestingly enough, they've thought forward and put in a microphone and some 2-watt speakers. So hopefully it'll get future state Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant integration.
No, that'd be nice for like ambient sounds in your house kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Or just being able to, another thing in your house in another room that you can say okay, and give it a command. What I thought was interesting, it does, to me, $399 for this is not out of the realm of expensive. What really caught my eye is they're doing a Indiegogo 50% discount, and
that's Lenovo.
Yeah. And I feel like they're going to make this product. I'm not losing my money on this one.
So Indiegogo is really big about being a mechanism to fund manufacturing. Katie, I think were you at the one Indiegogo presentation with me over at ETC? Maybe it was somebody else.
It was crowdsourcing. It was more of like getting the feedback.
Yeah, as you get the funds to make the thing. And it was very focused on the hardware side. Like they have a whole team just dedicated to that hardware funding, testing, prototyping, and bringing to market kind of situation, right? So it was really kind of fascinating. And I think I went to the wrong presentation. So you never know.
You learned something.
Yeah, it's like you never know you can run into. It's like, that's interesting, Indiegogo, and it's just like, no, this is maybe not for podcast money raising or something. Or whatever we were trying to do at the time. No, I can see, as big as they've gotten to become a platform, it kind of doesn't surprise me something as big as Lenovo would do this. And this isn't an obvious thing that I think this isn't a thing that's going to fly off the shelves of Best Buy or Walmart, I don't think, right? It's a very specialized thing.
I don't know.
For what it is, I don't know. Like, I would think about getting my mom one of these.
Okay.
Like, if I could, like, I've honestly thought about, because my mom, even my in-laws, they don't have any of, like, the Amazon devices with the display on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could give them the display and then families could upload into, like, an Amazon photos of like, the grandkids and whatnot. Like, and it could pop up on their devices almost like a little picture frame.
Yeah.
And then they could also use it for video. Like, this doesn't have a video camera in it, but if you could use, like, they could use that device for, like, video conferencing. I don't know. Like, I would think about this as a mainstream product.
Mm-hmm. And it would get cheaper as it comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
As it kind of populates. Like there might be cheaper renditions, smaller ones, just with the, with all the same kind of guts.
Yeah, the cool thing I thought about this is they put a special anti-reflective coating on it to kind of give it a matte picture-like look. Which if you can do that and it's not going to be like glare and reflection, and you can make it look nice, I don't know. I think this could go a lot of places.
Basically, this is Star Wars. So, like, if you seriously, you go into Picard's ready room and you see an Echo Show on his desk, and now this is just the wall panels to go into the holodeck.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Don't tweet us about his use of Star Wars versus Star Trek.
I was gonna say.
Did I just say Star Wars? I told you I woke up and came in here. Yes, this is
fine.
Star Trek.
That's fine. That's fine. It's all mushed. I get it.
There's a lot of stuff happening right now.
Listen, there's a lot happening. There's a Star Wars. There's a space force. There's a lot happening right now.
Too much sci-fi.
People are going to space. Yes, so we all binged something over the weekend. It's just where we're at right now. Katie, you have another Animal Crossing story in here.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty cool, and it's with COVID and coronavirus right now, and especially when we're losing people like friends and family, we're not able to have the proper funerals that we're used to, where we're going in and grieving and kind of talking about what sharing the memories, sharing the things, and a lot of people have taken to Animal Crossing to kind of do this and kind of create this environment. There's a way to create tombstones. I think I showed you all a few weeks back where I created a bunch of tombstones, and it was just me being weird and like, something happened here.
This is you just be like, this is what my basement looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's totally normal. But people are creating grave sites for their family members, and like in this article, it was the one girl had lost her grandmother, and wasn't able to do the normal funeral, so she put a grave site because near the ocean, near the beach, because that's what her grandma loved, and she planted
under a lighthouse.
With her favorite flower.
Oh.
And this was a way of paying tribute and being able to feel that connection when you're not able to have that right now. And there was even one that they had done a full-on funeral where it looks like that the person had been playing the game had passed away, and they opened up his island, and you could come in and do kind of it's depending on how you feel. It is kind of it's unusual, but it was a way for them to come in like a funeral home where you go in and pay your respects, and then there's a kind of in the square there's like a message board, like a bulletin board, and people were leaving messages there. And it was just their way of being able to process and kind of have that in the digital sense, because we're just not able to get together right now.
Yeah, there's a big thing, especially when we're talking about churches. It's not about the building; it's about being where you need to be. And being with the say the vibe, the fellowship wherever that is, and digitally counts too. And that's kind of the same thing. If this is the thing that helps you kind of replace being in the place so you can do what you need to do, like it completely works. And so many people do feel at home on Animal Crossing. So it works out. And
that's pretty cool.
And especially, you have been doing, as we talked about several weeks ago, your niece's parties and party games over Animal Crossing. It makes sense that you can do this with, along with a Zoom call, FaceTime, something along those lines to do what you need to do too, right?
So, I think it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I feel like somebody from Animal Crossing should be on the pandemic response team, because they have so many different ideas to help people cope.
I think they are the pandemic response team at this point.
Yes.
There's many things have kind of it's like how Nintendo helped the much of the world cope with these world events, right? Like
there's gonna be so many journals, like academic journals across the board, between social media, sociology, tech, about Animal Crossing and how we've all adjusted using Animal Crossing in this particular.
It's the strangest. Like we all talked about, like while we have your VR goggles, Facebook are doing these avatar meeting things. There was a story, it's probably in the rundown still, of them rolling this out. It was like, no, all we needed was Animal Crossing as our avatars and our places and our spaces, because that's where everybody can work. Related to Animal Crossing, I know that I shouldn't even bother with Animal Crossing because I know I can't create anything possibly better than Danny DeVito Island that this one user created. It is an island shaped like Danny DeVito. Well, the terrain is shaped like Danny DeVito with the glasses. So I give up. I'm out. I can't do anything about that. Also related, and I don't think I linked it here. Snapping turtle hell. Somebody covered their entire island with snapping turtles, which do hurt you, I believe, in the game, correct?
I've never encountered one, so I haven't actually seen a real reaction to it.
Okay, I got another fun one we have to get to before we get out. Two quick ones. Have you seen Room Raider on Twitter? Nobody?
No.
Nobody?
I have not seen
even
this,
my
no.
shares? So it's Rate My Skype Room on Twitter. And it goes through and you see everybody's background from CNN, CBS, PBS, and they give a rating and a review for everybody's everybody's background.
That's awesome.
Judging from the books to the pictures to the plants. They give a star rating, a rating out of 10. For instance, from the UK, in what may be our first pantry setup, add something to the wall, at least a calendar, 7 out of 10. And this was on. It is, yeah. It's definitely in the pantry. He's still got a 7 out of 10 though. That's not bad.
that's not
bad at all. Let's see. Let me just dive in. There's just a picture of a cat, well balanced, well lit, splash of color. Nora's cat is an easy 8 out of 10. Let's see. Here is a random one from MSNBC. Let's see. A Room Raider, Team Schmidt update. Flowers on point. The pineapple in stock. The pineapple, a stalking horse. The urn awaits. 10 out of 10. And it's like an all black motif of his kitchen in the background. So this is fun. I mean, we've talked about how everybody's struggling. I get messages from our friend, formerly of the mainstream media, just judging the Skype quality, video quality, Zoom quality, whatever on the Today Show. And how bad it is from time to time. So that's been fun. So in the meantime, we're doing what we're doing here in our little studio. So today's show, call me. Maybe we can help. Maybe we can help anybody out there.
I didn't even know that was a thing until I had a meeting for PGH Museums, and Missy was on there with like San Francisco and behind her, and I'm like, "Where in the hell are you?"
Oh, don't even get started on the Zoom backgrounds.
Yeah. So I need to. I gotta make sure I copy those over off my old laptop. That's the one thing I feel like Google Meet is missing is I don't have a background replacement.
Yeah,
that I do in Teams and I do in Zoom,
which I feel is for the best for live podcasting. So to keep people under control. You know how bad it was when we had there used to be in the early days of Google Hangout plugins, and there was a soundboard, and that was a problem on the Mayhem show, guys. That was a big problem, and since I've had a zero tolerance policy on soundboards across all the podcasts. So, yeah. All right, guys. Hey, Brian, thank you for joining us. What's going on lately over at pghmuseums.org?
So we just released a new video yesterday. It is called The Painted Bridge of Sawmill Run, which takes you to a bridge that has been taken over by graffiti artists, an old train bridge that is along a trail that connects you from Beachview to Mount Washington. So it's a great place you can check out to get some exercise while being away from other people, and there's lots of room to get around where you're not on top of people, and experience some awesome public art in the middle of nature with a nice stream that goes below you. It's really, really awesome. So I suggest checking that out. And then we also have COVID Conversations, which has been going on every week, where we talk to different people, creative people and museum directors and people like that about how they are dealing with the pandemic and how they're either still creating or trying to keep their audience engaged while their establishment is closed, things like that. So, and then we always end with an inspiring message as to how they are personally dealing with the situation to try to give people advice and ideas on how they too can cope with the situation. So I would suggest checking those out as well.
Awesome. A lot of great content going on over there. Please follow the Facebook, bookmark that pghmuseums.org and keep up with it. So, and I know a lot of people supporting that project as well, even in the pandemic. So that's really good to see, and good to see. There's a lot of great content that maybe looks a little different as we're seeing across the board on us. Might look a little different than if we were back to normal, but still, it's good that everybody's still connecting and making stuff. So awesome. And Dudders, she'll just be hanging out in Animal Crossing.
Yep.
Updates on Kate Murray PGH on the Instagram.
Yeah, that's like most of the stuff. Not as much on Facebook, but mostly on there.
There you go, including the Pants of Chemo Day.
Yes, my chemo socks pants combo, which were a big hit today.
Yes.
Dinosaur pants, which I do wear to the museum. Those are my museum pants. Yeah,
Fantastic.
I have dinosaur pants. And then avocado socks.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So we're into the punny sock phase of chemo.
Great. And John Chichilla at Chilla on the Twitter.
John Chichilla on the Facebook.
With all the CPUs. You do it, man, it's so crisp. No weird washouts.
I can't explain to you how
it's like you're right here.
How buttery smooth.
It is.
Everything is.
It is. It's like you're right here on one of these prosumer cameras we have on the studio here. It's fantastic. That's what happens when you push 4K into, like, you shove 4Ks into a 720 HD hole. Is you get what's happening with Chilla right there, right?
Yep.
So
it's all compressed down in a good way.
yes. Hey, you start with the good, and then if you compress all that down to like DVD, it'll be the best looking DVD you have going on. Guys, please go check out everything on AwesomeCast.com, SorgatronMedia.com, and I want to give a shout out to somebody I had noted here that's doing something really cool, and I can't find it now. But we got, of course, Listen to Your Parents over on the Facebook page. We also have... I can't find it. I know it's in here somewhere. Somebody's doing something cool. No, it's not Danny DeVito Island. Oh, Rise. Rise is doing Rise Wrestling. I know you guys aren't, maybe not all of you wrestling fans, but this is really cool. Speaking of people doing things in the pandemic, they are doing a Fire Pro Wrestling. This is a video game on PlayStation and Steam. Somebody on the roster, won't say who, but I'll give a random shout out to bnsaboutmovies.com, created the roster of this independent professional wrestling group here in Pittsburgh that we've worked with for years on their video over at indiewrestling.us, and they have actual promos from the wrestlers leading into their matchups here, and I believe this is going to happen soon. They don't have a date yet on it, according to this post, but it will air on their Patreon page, and so go check that out. They'll have episode 1. They're going to do 3 matches on there, a really cool kind of thing to have a virtual Rise Wrestling show that's happening there. So nice. From that, we have a lot of stuff with wrestling. Please stay tuned over Indie Wrestling US Wrestling Mayhem Show. Our friends over at Fight Underground Wrestling Alliance, Renegade Wrestling Alliance, they're doing an interactive voting tournament that we've been rolling out over several weeks. Just did a great watch along with Prospect Pro Wrestling on Saturday night. You can go back and see the wrestlers watching back some of their matches. Some broadcasting from a strip joint. Legitimately, that happened. Some broadcasting from their car for some reason. I don't know why. So go check all those out. And there's some things in the planning stages for this weekend as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. We'll see you guys next time. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. And no, you jag off.
Next week, sir.
Stream. We'll see you guys in